Okay, modeler, so today we're going to do a bit of a review on some new products that I've just got. They've only just been released by OK Interactive, and I'm pretty excited to actually use these because I have other products that I use instead of these at the moment, but these are sort of specifically aimed at what they're made for, basically. Now, one of them is the gauzy agent, which that's for doing canopies, you know, like we dip it in Future or Johnson 4 polish or something like that. Well, this will take the place of that. Well, that's what it's meant to do. So we're going to do a little bit of a review on this and see how it works. I've got a couple of canopies here. One of them is sort of scratched up on the side there. That was just get rid of a seam that was up the top, and I've just left it fairly scratchy looking to see, you know, what sort of effect this has on it when it's been dipped and got a few coats on it. The other one's just a nice clear canopy. I mean, that's fairly nice just on its own. It has got a seam up there. This is off the Tamiya P51 actually, and beautiful kit by the way, but this seam has to be taken out of it. So, but just for this I'm just going to leave that seam in it. But like, as you can see, it's a nice canopy. Hopefully dipping in it here is actually going to make it look even better, give it more transparency and so on. The other product I've got is this gauzy agent as well, but this is the shine enhancer. Okay, so what this one is going to do is I'm going to spray it over the OK Interactive Extreme Metal paints, and they're only old test ones that I've done the first review of the OK paints in the first place, just some old models I got over there. They've got no clear coats over them at the moment, so I'm going to spray that over it and just see how it goes. Now, it does say on the bottle you can actually brush this on as well because it's self-leveling, so it's probably pretty much like Future or something like that, but obviously Future's clear, this isn't. Probably looks a bit more like the Johnson stuff I use, the floor polishing stuff. But pretty excited to use these products, guys. You're going to have to forgive if you hear noises in the background. I'm working out of my shed and it's fairly windy today, so I've actually had one of my subs comment about the noise in the background. What is it? They thought it was a conveyor belt, and honestly it sounds like a conveyor belt some days. Anyway guys, I'm really looking forward to using these products. So I'll turn the camera off now. I'll come back and I'll do this one first, the canopy agent, and then I'll turn the camera back on and we'll try the shine enhancer and see what they look like. Anyway guys, stay tuned. Okay modelers, so our first test is going to be with the glass coat. Like I was saying before, I've got two canopies there to try it on. Now just one tip, don't shake this and then go to use it, because it ends up with a great big heap of foam when you shake it up. You're probably better off stirring this stuff up. Give it a good stir for a while. The problem is if you get foam and bubbles in the top of this, when you dip your canopies and pull them out, they're going to be covered in bubbles, and you have to sort of go through and get rid of all those, and it's sometimes, if there's that many bubbles, it's just about impossible, and you end up with little ring marks and stuff all over your canopies. So make sure it's got a nice flat coat on the top like that and no bubbles on it. Just don't shake it. I don't know, it was just a mistake I made. I know when I use Future and that, I don't shake that stuff, because if I do, I know I end up with the foam on there. So the same with this, don't shake it because it will foam up. So okay, the first one I'm going to dip, guys, is this one here, the nice clean canopy. Just make sure no dust particles. Now it's good that this comes in this nice little jar like that. Now that's ample for actually being able to dip something even that size in. I mean, it's not the smallest canopy in the world. But it dips quite nicely in there. Now you'll see what I mean by bubbles on this when I pull it into the picture. You can see there's bubbles on that. Now you've got to put these down on something that's going to soak up the excess. You can't let that excess stay there, because, you know, you'll end up with like sort of thick parts on your canopy, and it'll distort the vision through that canopy. The transparency will be all messed up. Now because there's bubbles on that, I'm just going to go through and try and pull them out. Sometimes you can blow on it and some of them will pop, because the skin on the bubble gets thinner the longer it stays there. If they're not going to pop, just try and draw the bubble down to the bottom where it'll run off with the excess. There's one up on there. Okay, that one's on the inside, so go into the inside. Okay, I'm not going to worry about getting all these out, guys. Normally I would go over the whole thing and make sure that all the bubbles are gone, but I just want to see how this stuff behaves. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this part aside, let it start drying. Now it's got a funny look to it. It's almost like a blue tinge that's sort of on there now, which is a bit strange looking, but we'll see what happens as that dries out. Now the next canopy is the one that I've put all these scratches on up the side, so I'll dip that in there. Now what I'm going to do with this one is I won't worry too much about getting the whole canopy in there. I just want to see how it reacts to the scratches, that's all. So as I pull it out, nice and even like so, just sort of dipping like that. Okay, that one's come up a little bit better. There's still a couple of little pieces on there, but get off the excess, guys. Set him down there, and we'll let that one dry as well. When they're dried, I'll come back and show you what's happened once they're dry. But already I can see this one here starting to sort of dry off. It has got a couple little bubbles in there I didn't get out, but that doesn't matter too much. But already I can see that's actually looking quite nice already, even though it's got that blue tinge to it. Hopefully when it dries it hasn't got a blue tinge, but we'll see what happens once they're dry. So anyway guys, I'll turn the camera back on once those are dry and we'll have a look. Just one more quick tip too, guys, with this sort of thing is when you're letting canopies dry, when you've got them coated with something that thick, try and put a cover over them to stop dust particles getting in them. You only need the smallest dust particle, it'll ruin that whole finish. Normally I'd have a cover like a Tupperware lid or something I'd put over these, and like to protect any dust from falling on them, but I'm not going to worry about it because this is just a bit of a review. Also guys, you can brush this stuff on. I used it on I'll pull it over here now and show you just quickly. I'm not sure how well this is going to focus for you, how well you're going to be able to see it, but these two here are exactly the same. This one here I brushed on this new product, this one here hasn't got it on, and honestly there is a really big difference. I can see, hopefully you can pick it up on the camera, I'm not sure if you can, but the transparency is just superb on the one that's got the glass agent on there. It's really nice. Okay, I'm not sure, like I say, I'm not sure how well you can see it. I'll see how much I can get this camera to focus for you. Pull out of the road. Yeah, maybe it's not going to focus enough for you to be able to see the difference. You might be able to see it there. You can see how beautiful and clear that is. Okay, really nice finish there, guys. So I've got to say I'm really impressed with that. That's only one coat. Honestly, the more coats you put on there, the nicer it's going to look. To a point, I mean, you only get to a point where it's just too thick, but probably 2 or 3 coats, I think that would actually, be a perfect glass canopy then. So anyway, guys, so I'll turn the camera off now. We'll let these dry, and I'll come back once they're done. Okay, guys, so I'm going to give the shine enhancer a bit of a run now and see what it comes up like. Now I've just put a new paint that I've got from AK, some white aluminium, and it's not like a super shiny coat anyway. Put that on the bottom of the aircraft, and on the top here is the old coats that I put on in a review that I done ages ago. This side here is the old clad aluminium. This one here is some of the AK polished aluminium look. So I'm going to put the clear over all of this and just see what it looks like. Now the problem has been putting clear coats over these metal finishes. It just looks like a metal surface with a gloss coat over the top, and it just doesn't look realistic because an aircraft hasn't got a gloss coat if it's got an aluminium finish. It can be polished, it can be all sorts of things, but they don't put a gloss coat over it, and it just sort of has always ruined the look of it. But the problem is when you want to do decaling, weathering, things like that, you can actually wreck that coat. And you also, once you've done the weathering, you want to protect it in some way, and you want to protect that beautiful metal finish, and we haven't been able to do it. So what I'm hoping for with this product is that I can put a bit of a clear coat over it, and it's not going to destroy the metal finish. It's not going to look like a glossy finish over a metal coat. So forgive the noise in the background, but that's my little compressor running there. And I'll just adjust my airbrush off to the side here. Okay, and we're just going to run over. I'm not going to put a thick coat on first up, just a bit of a coat, like so, a bit over the wing. Okay, I don't want to put a big thick coat on there, just enough to sort of cover the surface. Now at the moment that looks really glossy on there, but we've got to give it time to sort of dry off. Now I'm going to do it on the AK stuff on here because honestly I'd say that's what it was designed for. It wasn't really designed for the old clad stuff, so I'll put a bit of a clear coat over this. Now this finish is not the best, guys. I've done this, well, when I've done the review, it was quite a while ago, and this thing's been rattling around a box, so the finish is not that great. And what I'll do, I will put a little bit on the AK side as well, on this polished aluminium, and just see what we end up with. Okay, and I'm not, like I say, I'm not putting a big thick coat on here, just enough to sort of protect it if we had to weathered it up sort of thing. Tip it back over. So honestly, obviously I'm going to get some finger marks in this now because I've been handling it, but that is starting to dry off on that white aluminium there already. A little bit on the wing there that's not covered too well. So what I might do, guys, I'll put a bit of a thicker coat out here on the wing. I'll go over it a few times and just see, you know, if there is a limit we can get to with this stuff without destroying the finish. Okay, so what I'll do, I'm going to put that off to the side a little bit, guys, and let it dry off and see what we end up with. So now what I'll do, I'll bring the canopies back into picture here that we put the glass coat stuff on. I'll get this to zoom in a little bit for you so you can get a good look at these canopies. Okay, so this canopy here was the one that was quite a nice canopy. It hasn't quite dried yet and it's still got that blue tinge to it. I had to dip this one again though, unfortunately, because once I got off camera I actually went to move the tissue and this rolled over on its back, so it got a little bit destroyed. But looking at the bits that are almost dry, it's coming up really, really nicely. But the one I'm really impressed with is this guy here. Now this one here was the one that had all the scratches in it. Now the scratches were on this side, and honestly they have all but disappeared. There's a little bit still in there that I can see. I'll give it another dip, and honestly I'd say they will just be gone. Once I give it that second dip, those scratches will be actually gone out of there. And where it has dried over the part that didn't have the scratches, that is absolutely superb. That is just really, really nice. It's got a really, really nice glassy look to it. The transparency on there is now beautiful because I'm looking down at the tissue, looking at the wrinkles in the tissue through that, and it's not distorted in any way. Normally with the clear plastic canopies, when you put them down over something and look through them, they are a little bit distorted, which is one of the shames, because you know, you got a nice cockpit, you put the canopy over it and it's all distorted when you look through the glass. This stuff here will fix that up. But what I'll do, I'll give this one another dip, guys, and see what it comes up like. And this one here, we'll give it a little bit more time to dry off, but just by going the bits that are dry there already, that's just really, really nice. So far, really impressed. But like I say, I'll let them dry off. I'll give them another dip, and we'll see what we end up with. So while the camera's back on, I'll pull over the clear coated. Okay, all this is stuff on the wing here. Oh, it's tacky. It's not quite dried yet on the wing. Hang on, I'll just pull the camera back out a little bit so you can see a little bit more. Okay, where I put the really thick coat over here, obviously that's really, really glassy looking. Okay, you can see that shine, see through there. That's just too much. Okay, but where I put like an ordinary coat over the back here, hope you can see that hasn't got that glassy finish to it. Just forgive that aircraft taking off in the background, guys. I'm hoping the camera can pick this up well enough for you. That's actually a really, really nice look where I haven't put too much on. Down on the tail here is really nice over the jet bays. I'm actually quite impressed with that. It hasn't left that glassy sort of look over it, like a polished look. It just actually looks like, it does look like metal. It doesn't look like there's a gloss coat over or anything like that. It's actually really nice, guys. I'm just hoping that the camera can pick it up. I'm trying to get you can see that wing there. If you can look at that wing there now, see how I've got too much on there and it's just really glossed out and it's really glassy. That's not what you want. But if you can see on the engine bays here, it hasn't got that. Okay, but there's a protective layer on there now, so you'll be able to weather over that, and yeah, it shouldn't affect the paint underneath. And also, once you've done the weathering, you'll be able to put that over, put a light coat, like I say. It wasn't just a mist coat, it was a decent sort of coat, but it wasn't a thick coat. Okay, but it'd be enough to protect your paint underneath, and that's already dry to touch, actually, believe it or not. That's actually come up really nice. One of the things I found with gloss coats, sometimes they can take so long to dry, you run the risk of ending up with all these particles in there, but that's already dry to the touch. The wing, yeah, no, that's still a little bit tacky out there, but that's really thick out on that wing. But honestly, guys, I can definitely recommend that product if you want to protect your metal finishes. I have put it over the AK on this side. That's dried off there. Now where I put it on too thick over here, again you can see that glassed out look to it. Okay, that's just a bit too much. But down on the tail here where I haven't put too much on, that's actually come up really nice. On the AK stuff on this side here, it's still a bit tacky in places where I put it on thick, as you can see there. But yeah, where I've put it on the white aluminium on the back here, just that nice coat. There's definitely a way to use it. But anyway guys, I will, as I use this product more, I'll show it in the videos, because I definitely will be using this over my metal finishes now to protect them. And I've got to say I'm quite impressed with the way it's gone on here with just a lighter coat. And looking on this wing here now where it's starting to dry off, when it has dried off, actually that looks quite nice down in here now. The more it dries the better it's looking, guys. So what I might do is I'll give this time to dry with the canopies, then I'll come back on and show you once it's completely cured, once it's really dried out there. Well, obviously this wing here, I've stuck my fingers in it and everything now, but that's obviously too much. You can just see that's really glassed out on there now. But anyway guys, I'll turn the camera off. I'm going to let all this stuff dry. I'll dip the canopies one more time, let them dry, then we'll come back on and we'll give a final little bit of a review on the products, eh? Okay modelists, so we're back and our canopies are dried out now. There's a little bit of stuff that's still tacky right down around the rims where it was running off, but they're pretty much dry. Now this one here is the nice canopy that we done. Hopefully you can see on there just how beautiful and clear that is. Forgive the spots that are on it, like the dust spots, because I obviously this is only for a test. I didn't have it covered up, so a bit of dust and stuff got in it. But I was just looking for the transparency of this stuff, and honestly, that is just absolutely beautiful, guys. I mean, I've got some over. I can't actually reach them at the moment. I've got some I've done in future as well to compare them, and honestly, you can see the difference between the future dip canopies and these ones here. This stuff's really, really nice actually. This one here is the one that had the scratches in it. Now I'm going to try and get this as close as I can get it to focus. Yeah, it's not going to work very well, is it? But hopefully you can see at that point, and I don't think I can zoom any closer, but you can't even see those scratches now where I actually done all the sanding on there. They're actually completely gone, and that was with 2 dips. All that scratching is gone now. So if you've got a sand to seam out, like especially on this Tamir one here, this has got that ugly big seam right up the middle. If you had to sand that out, you can sand it out, give it a quick buff, dip it in that stuff, and you will never ever know that it's been sanded. It's just it comes up really, really nice. I'm actually really impressed with that. I will be using this stuff now for most of my canopies. I have actually used the brush on another canopy that I showed you earlier, and I put a second coat on, and it's the same result. It just comes up really nice and clear. So this stuff can be airbrushed, you can brush it on, just be aware of the bubbles, and like I say, put a cover over it when it's drying to keep the dust particles off it, because as you can see on these, the dust particles show up really well because the canopy's so nice and clean that any little dust speck on there is going to show up. They're really, really nice. I haven't got any cloudy patches. Where it's still drying, it's a little bit smoky. But it's absolutely beautiful, so I can definitely recommend that, guys, and I'll be using it on most of my aircraft models in the future, and I will show you those as I build those. Now for other product, our clear coat over the metal, this guy here, this is the one I showed you first up. Now this is on the back here, this is the white aluminium with the clear coat over it. Now it's not a thick coat, it's just a fairly standard coat. That's come up really nice as well, but even where I put it out here on the wing rim before, when we were showing it was still wet and it had that really glossy appearance, it's still got a slight sort of sheen to it, but it's dyed right back, and I got to say I'll be using this on all my metal coats in the future. It's come up really nice, but I won't be putting it on too thick. The out here in the wing here, even though it's dried off nicely, I really like this appearance in here. Now that's just a quick coat on there, and it's come up really nice. I know that's going to protect it. I can weather over that, then I can spray another coat on to hold the weathering so it doesn't get destroyed. On the other side here, again, it hasn't destroyed that look. It's got a nice coat over it without actually destroying the look. Now this wing here, I put it on really, really thick. I mean, it was almost running off there. You can see it sort of dried back quite nicely. Now the other thing I've done with that as well is on this aircraft here, Just wait for the camera to focus for us. Now, in this panel here and all up in here, I actually brush that on. Because you brush it on, goes on much thicker, and you can see there's a little bit of gloss coat on that, but it's not too bad. If you've done it in small areas, you wouldn't notice it. But to pick that panel from this panel, I'm hoping the camera can pick it up. It may not, but it's give it a clear coat and protected it, and you can't really pick the difference. This one here is maybe just a slightest bit shinier, but it doesn't look like there's a glossy coat over it. It's actually come back really nice, and that was being brushed on. So panel to panel, you can see that it actually works. The other wing here, if I can get it into focus, you can see again I'll put that on really thick, and when it's on thick you can see that glassy coat. It's just too much. Okay, so if you're going to use the stuff, guys, put it on in a thin coat, not a mist coat, a bit more than a mist coat, just a thin coat, and it's absolutely superb. It's been something I've been looking for quite a while, because I've used Future, I've used Johnson Clear, I've used even the MacLeod Clear I've used over the metal finishes to try and protect them, but it always comes up, it looks like it's got a glass coat over it, and it just doesn't finish off the metal coat. This stuff here is actually come up really nice. So again, I'll be using this in my builds in the future, and as I do that, you'll be able to see what it does to the aircraft, whether it destroys it or makes it or whatever. But anyway, guys, that's those two products reviewed. Let's find them off to the side here. So these two guys here, okay, and I'll zoom out a little bit so we can see them in the picture there. Got to say, guys, I can recommend both these products. From what I've seen just with this little review, they're really nice. There's not much more I can say. Just remember not to shake this stuff before you use it, because you'll end up with the glass in it. This stuff can be sprayed straight out of the bottle or brushed straight out of the bottle. It's a really nice consistency to spray or brush. But yeah, I can definitely recommend them, guys. But as I say, I'll build my aircraft, and I'll be using these products in the future as I build the aircraft, and they'll give me much more a better idea as I'm going through it. This is just a quick review just to let you know what these products are like. Okay, guys, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you sub if you haven't subbed. Leave some comments for me, guys, and I will see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.